Hi Darby and Assassins, my name is Arshak and I'm the creator of AC Landmarks. Now, as many of you know, Darby McDevitt, the phenomenal writer and narrative director of many Assassin's Creed titles, has left Ubisoft. In his writing, you, Darby, inspired many of us in our lives. So I asked some assassins, be them in the Mentors Guild or in the key figures of the Assassin's Creed community, to leave you a farewell message answering this question. How has Darby and or his games influenced you in your life? Some even left you a great message of always sticking by our sides in the dark year that Assassin's Creed had last year in 2020, and vouching for change and supporting the spectacular movement that AC Sisterhood is. I'd like to thank the assassins in this video for participating in this great farewell initiative for Darby. I want to thank Colum from the ones who came before at AC Versive on Twitter for helping me send the invitations to the mentors as well. Now, without further ado, I hope you enjoy this, mentor.
I think the thing that stood out the most for me in Darby's writing is his approach to writing characters. And I don't just mean the protagonist, I mean exploring the bonds between the protagonist and side characters, and then being taken on a journey with them. Whether they're aiding the protagonist's arc, or they're furthering their own. It's always been one of the most interesting parts of Darby's Assassin's Creed stories, but it's far from the only thing of note.
Darby's stories are more than just good Assassin's Creed stories. Since Revelations, I've been filled with this passion for writing, and Revelations is one of those stories that unlocked that for me. It allowed me so much more to appreciate what goes into telling a well-rounded narrative, what connects people to these characters, places, these historical periods. The subtlety of a story like Black Flag is just incredible, and the way that it's woven together with having to be a video game as well as a story is just, I mean, it blows my mind. These stories are filled with such love and care and heart and subtlety, and I really truly appreciate all of them. When you look at how he wrote the closing days of Ezio's life in Revelations and Embers, when you look at these different points in Altair's life, managing to hit these very specific character beats in each of these sequences while continuing a flow of narrative that then connects to Ezio as well, is just incredibly done. The redemption arc of Edward Kenway, the journey he goes on and how meaningful that is, not just in terms of telling a great Assassin's Creed story or a great pirate story, but just a meaningful one that the audience can connect to on an emotional and personal level, is brilliantly done. The way that despite Valhalla being incredibly long, it manages to engage the player on different levels depending on what you're doing, and the subtlety that goes into building out this world and this lore and this space is just brilliantly crafted. Darby is an example of being so good at what you do that it influences others to go down that path as well. I'm always going to follow Darby wherever he goes next, whatever he decides to do next. I think he's an absolutely brilliant writer and just a great bloke. And I'll never forget that his works on the Assassin's Creed games definitely influenced my passion towards writing, and that is incredibly special to me.
I want to talk about why Darby and his games changed my life. After Revelations, I started doing YouTube. The reason I'm here, and any of you listen to me, a big part of that is someone like Darby McDevitt. He's a phenomenal writer. He just is. What he did on Revelations was so outstanding. And following it up with Black Flag, the work of the community, that's what matters the most. His writing credentials, A+, we know that. But him as a man, what he did for the community during the hard times, especially last year, can't be understated. That's what needs to be highlighted. He's more than a writer, he's a community friend, an ally and a leader, and he's someone we're going to miss dearly, and at the same time, we're going to follow closely and be a huge fan of. And know whatever Darby's a part of, whatever Darby does next, whether he writes his own novel, or he's involved in games, movies, whatever he wants to write, we're going to pay attention to him, we're going to support him, and that's credit to him as a person more than him as a writer. We already know he's a great writer, but him as a person is the reason we're going to follow him wherever he goes. So Darby, thank you for all your work over the last 10 plus years at Ubisoft and on the Assassin's Creed series. You're going to be missed by so many fans, and I personally look very much forward to what you're going to do next in the future. It's so exciting, so I can't wait. Good luck, mate, and all the best.
Hey Darby, as sad as it is to say goodbye to you from the Assassin's Creed franchise, I just want to say that You've left us some of the most incredible experiences we could ever dream of, not just in Assassin's Creed, but in gaming. The best lore ever. Since Assassin's Creed Revelations, it came in a really critical point in my life when I was questioning so many things, personally and ideologically and socially. And the words of Altair ibn Lahad and Ezio Auditore and the Codex of Altair touched me on a really deep level, that it helped me get over so many complexities in my life, and it helped me challenge so many dogmas, so many roadblocks standing in my way in life. So thank you for that. Thank you for writing compelling enough experiences that helped me more than so many people, movies, and books ever could. And thank you for making the best Assassin's Creed games ever, from the very beginning until Valhalla. And thank you for everything you've done for the lore. It's really sad saying goodbye to you, but I really can't wait to see what you come up with next, in any franchise, in any type of work. So best of luck to you on your next journey, and thank you so much for everything, and may we meet again.
G'day Darby, I just want to say a big thank you. I really just want to thank you for all the amazing stuff you've done for the Assassin's Creed franchise. I believe that everything you've done for your writing, your characterization, all that kind of jazz. I feel if it wasn't for all those amazing characters and moments, and I even feel like I learned a lot of things as I feel like I've grown up with a lot of these stories coming through high school, I really feel it's made me into the person I am today.
For every story Darby tells, he goes beyond just storytelling. He tells us the morals behind those stories. You don't just see a story of conflict between assassins and Templars. Instead, you see the arc of the characters evolves over time. And at the end of the game, you feel that value-added feeling, even for yourself or for the lore of the franchise.
One of the ways Darby inspired and helped me in life was actually by acting as one of the sole inspirations for the ones that came before. Like 7 years ago when I was getting started, Darby was the key person I would look up to and ask questions about. So I would message him asking Assassin's Creed lore questions, and he'd send me the answers back. And just the way he writes Assassin's Creed lore, it sort of brings everything together in full circle. And that was one of the inspirations for me setting up the community that I did. So I'm really glad that we had him on the brand for so long. He's a fantastic writer, and I know he's going to be very successful in all of his future projects.
Hey Darby, it's Lorio. I heard you're leaving Ubisoft, so I wanted to say a big thank you for all of the hard work that you've done over the years. I've greatly enjoyed your stories, and you've given me many moments for me to go back to. But I also know that you're incredibly talented, and I really look forward to seeing what you're working on next. I also wanted to say a really big thank you for all of your vocal support for the AC Sisterhood. I think last year was incredibly difficult for many of us, and seeing so many of the devs openly support our group, yourself included, was really encouraging and has kind of given us sort of the energy to keep going. So a big thank you, and I wish you the best in all of your future endeavors. Take care.
Hi Assassins, this is Arshak. I just wanted to make a quick stop to tell you to consider following the AC Sisterhood page and using the hashtag AC Sisterhood. I again wanted to thank you Darby for being there for us and vouching for change and being the change in your strong writing of female characters. May the AC franchise be more equal in its representation of both men and women. Now back to some AC4 and Valhalla soundtracks with some more farewells.
Darby's work on AC has had a pretty big effect on me that I would say even goes beyond the series, because AC was one of the first narratives I really paid much thought to. It was games that told stories that were as exceptional as they were in something like Revelations that made me go from liking this medium as a pastime to becoming something that I felt really did captivate me. And being an excellent writer, and then being an excellent writer for Assassin's Creed and all that entails, those are two different things, I feel, and so when you have a writer that's truly masterful at writing mortal, vulnerable characters, but then also has this passion for the philosophical ponderings and like the eccentricness of Assassin's Creed, that's when you really get something special. So Darby, thank you for all of your work over the last, 12 years? You've genuinely had a massive effect on me. I grew up with these stories and I loved them probably more than any other when I was a kid, wanting to write stories of my own, and that genuinely means more to me than my monotone can probably convey. And I don't think that I would be where I am now were it not for, my love of this medium and storytelling, that I wouldn't have were it not for me obsessing over Revelations or Black Flag when they came out and years afterwards. And that is sort of just a long form way of saying you're responsible for 20 to 30 Assassin's Creed top 5s, but that's really not as kind on the ears. But on a serious note, it's really rare that you can replay a game, in my case several times a year on occasion, and still have them affect you as much as they do. In the case of something like Black Flag, I feel as if I've only grown to appreciate that as I've gotten older. So whatever it is that you go on to do, I know that I and so many other people are going to be watching you with keen eyes. So thank you and the best of luck to you.
I just want to say a massive thank you to Darby and McDevitt for all your hard work on the Assassin's Creed franchise. It's really sad to see that you were leaving Ubisoft. I was very disheartened when I saw the news. I wish you could stick around a bit longer because I love your work on Valhalla. And I want to say a massive thank you for everything you've done. I have loved every single minute of every game you've worked on, and Black Flag had helped me a lot when I was going through a rough time emotionally, because the story and the world you helped create was so immersive and captivating. It helped me escape from the problems in real life. So thank you so much for Black Flag, and thank you so much for everything you've done for the franchise.
When I think of impactful storytelling in Assassin's Creed, I always go to 3 titles. And those 3 titles would be Assassin's Creed Revelations, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and Assassin's Creed Origins. And that might just be a personal thing, but for me, those 3 stories are super impactful to me, and I would say even the overarching story of Assassin's Creed as a whole. And because of my love for all 3 of those games, and this video being about Darby, it is no coincidence that he obviously wrote all 3 of those stories. And now that he's no longer going to be part of Ubisoft, I'm going to take a lot of my time to go back and replay the Darby games and have like a little Darby marathon of my own and just enjoy the stuff he gave us.
Darby, you've been a major influence to me ever since I played Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. I remember being so passionate about pirates and Assassin's Creed that I literally wrote a personal statement out to universities, and I got accepted to my dream school where I went and researched primary sources over there thanks to your games being like the inspiration behind them. And I researched about Blackbeard and Vane and Stede Bonnet. It was great. You gave me that passion to pursue history and be enamored by it, and ever since then I graduated and started AC Landmarks, where I had the pleasure of questioning you a lot about Valhalla and Black Flag, and you took the time to answer, which means the world to me. I wanted to thank you, Darby, for being such an amazing support to not only me, but to all the communities out there in our dark time in 2020, and for supporting the amazing initiative that AC Sisterhood is. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors at Illogica, and you can be sure that the whole community will follow your creations, because the whole community will know they're in for an unforgettable adventure. Thank you.
There's been a couple of things that Darby has written for the Assassin's Creed series that really means a lot to me. Revelations is probably one of the best endings of all the games in the series. Embers, no matter how many times I watch it, I will still tear up. And my personal favorite, of course, is Black Flag. Love the story, the wonderful characters, and Edward is my favorite assassin, so thank you so much for bringing him to life. Also want to tell you thank you for reading my thirsty tweet about Edward in the AC Sisterhood fundraiser milestone video. It was really a thrill for me to hear you read something that I wrote about Edward. I know you're going to be absolutely amazing in whatever it is you're doing in the future, I look forward to the next adventure from you, and I wish you all the best.
Hi Darby, it's SixKeys. Just wanted to let you know that the love and respect you've always shown to the fans is something that'll stay with me a long time. It was always exciting to speculate about the games, but what made it even more fun was knowing that you enjoyed watching our excitement too. Your support for AC Sisterhood has also been great. Still sad to see you go, but I hope that whatever you do next will be creatively exciting and fulfilling for you. Thank you for everything. Thanks for your passion and the stories and characters you've created, and I wish you all the best.
So, the pieces of the Assassin's Creed universe that Darby has worked on have touched me personally quite strongly, you know, in large part because he played such a major role in defining the character who would go on to become my favorite character in gaming, and up there for my favorite character in fiction as well, who is Altair. You know, Bloodlines, Revelations, you know, and they obviously played a huge part in defining and evolving what Altair would become. Other than that though, even Revelations, Embers, Black Flag, Valhalla, you know, all of these titles played a major role in expressing how the Assassin's Creed affects people and how it touches people, not just assassins in all cases, but also just normal human beings, because those are the people for whom we fight, right? Those are the people for whom assassins and Templars seek to change the world, you know, both sides believing they're right, of course. I think that one of the most important things Darby had ever done for the franchise is understanding that the Assassin's Creed universe is more than just Assassins and Templars. He understood the importance of seeing from an outside perspective, seeing, you know, what this world is like from the life of a neutral observer. The Assassin's Creed titles he worked on are the best at expressing this, and the best it's ever been, in my eyes. So I just want to say thank you so much, Darby, for everything you've done for this series. Thank you for spending these years with us, and thank you for valuing this world as much as you do, which is, you know, really as much as we do. So yeah, I hope that wherever you end up, you're really happy, and that everything goes well for you. And thank you so much once again.
I guess I don't have like this super cool story about how the games that Darby worked on really helped me in life, but I think they gave me perspective. Like, these are story arcs and character arcs that sometimes they are larger than life and sometimes they are very private. And I think the element in common that they all have is this strong, heart-wrenching ending that will forever stay with me, and I think will also be the same for other members of the community and gamers in general. And another thing, another mark that these games left on me is the number of topics, the number of themes, the number of discussion elements that they had. Like, these prompted me to create content over them, but also to discuss them at length with a lot of friends. They actually helped me like nurturing friendships online, and these were topics that we always had to discuss throughout these years. So I'll be forever grateful about them.
Thank you so much for watching, Assassins. I hope you enjoyed the video, Darby. Assassins, if you want to leave a personalized message for Darby, comment below on how he and his games influenced your life. And please, follow and subscribe to the amazing people that were a part of this video. With that said, there is nothing left to say but Vittoria e l'Assassini, Darby.